Welcome back. You're still tuned in to Salam Media with myself, Salailo Makwidiri, and today we're joined by Fadel Abdul Ghany. He's the Executive Director of the Syrian Network for Human Rights, SNHR for short. They're a leading independent organization established in 2011 to document human rights violations and to provide critical data for accountability efforts in Syria. SNHR has been a primary source for the UN's Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights and has consistently worked to shine a light on the atrocities committed during Syria's ongoing conflict. Recently, the SNHR has called on Russia to extradite Bashar al-Assad, who has reportedly sought asylum in Moscow after being deposed. The network argues that Assad, accused of crimes against humanity and war crimes, must face a fair trial in Syria to ensure justice for the millions of victims. And we'll be discussing the implications of Assad's asylum in Russia, the legal and almost moral obligations of the international community, and what ultimately justice looks like for the Syrian people. Abdul, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for giving us your time, and really, really appreciate it. Welcome to Salam Media.
Thanks for having me.
I think first and foremost, we can focus a bit on Assad's asylum to Russia. Reports indicating that Bashar al-Assad and his family have sought asylum in Russia. What do you make of this? What do you make of President Vladimir Putin's decision to grant asylum on what he calls humanitarian grounds?
Now, all Syrian is seeking accountability because we want those like violations and crimes to heal in this transition period. Putin and Russia doesn't help us to move forward, and they grant Bashar al-Assad a fake asylum or arbitrary asylum. It's not an asylum because Bashar al-Assad, as everyone all around the world knows, committed crimes against humanity and war crimes. If any person committed such a crimes, it's prohibited based on the law to seek asylum. And we call on Russia to extradite Bashar al-Assad for fair trial, actually, in Syria. He'll not be tortured. He'll subjected to a trial, and the Syrian want this trial to be in Syria, and they want to notice that. We want all the world witness that Bashar al-Assad held accountable, not to flee after with millions or billions of dollars after he committed all of those crimes against humanity and war crimes.
I want to touch a bit on the legal implications. Your organization, the SNHR, has emphasized that granting asylum to individuals accused of war crimes violates international law. Can you, in a bit, just briefly elaborate on the legal framework, particularly, the relevance of Article F1 of the 1951 Refugee Convention?
The convention prohibited any person who committed atrocities, including crimes against humanity, genocide, war crimes, to get asylum. On the other hand, that prevent also the country who this person seek asylum to handle him to a state that he might subjected to torture. But here in the same statement, we recommended and we mentioned clearly that the new authorities in Syria should not subject any Assad criminals or the regime criminals to any types of torture. We are unlike Assad. Our uprising against actually those practices. This is the aim of the uprising, to move Syria toward a state respect the human rights and a democratic state. So we don't want to copy Bashar al-Assad practices. Russia violated the international law And we are calling the UN and the international community to pressure Russia and other states also. 2 3 days before Bashar al-Assad fall, there is many criminals fled to another country, not only Russia. So
Mm.
those states also they have to handle those criminals to the new Syrian authority.
The SNHR's database shows, staggering statistics when it comes to some of the atrocities committed under Assad's regime. Could you maybe provide an overview of some of the key crimes for which you believe Assad should be held accountable for?
Assad killed 202,000 Syrian civilians,
Mm,
including 23,000 children, and around 15,000 under torture, and disappeared 96,000. So the majority of those might be killed. So we are talking about 300,000 Syrian being killed. This is a minimum bar. So maybe this figure much more than that. Maybe it will reach to 500,000 Syrian. And Bashar al-Assad committed actually a shelling based on barrel bombs, cluster munition, chemical weapons that lead a huge amount of the Syrian population to be forced displacement. We are talking
mm,
about 13 millions inside Syria, IDPs or refugees outside of Syria. So all of those are Assad victims. So based on that, Assad and his regime must held accountable. Otherwise, Syria will not heal for forever. And that's what we don't want to see, that people seeking revenge on their hand. Justice must serve, and Bashar al-Assad and his regime should held accountable.
mm. I want us to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to focus on the extradition process to Syria that you're calling for, and also just the role of the international community, particularly the United Nations, when it comes to putting pressure on Russia to fulfill its moral and legal obligations in this case. But we'll touch a bit on it after the short break.
This is Salam Media.
Ah, the kitchen, the heart of the home, where memories are made and celebrated. Our go-to place for those freshly stacked pancakes early in the morning or for that late-night snack munchies. We are in there together, cooking, eating, and celebrating life together. Let's keep the kitchen a place that is shared by everyone, where we build stronger bonds and grow together. Sunfoil, Now We Cooking. Visit nowwecooking.co.za for recipes that everyone can help make.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic Sharia and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
Hey Gulam,
Yeah?
did I return your lawnmower last month?
No, bye, you didn't.
Oh no. Now what'll I do? I wanted to borrow it again, man.
With Rendry Jewelers, you won't have to borrow or lend because the prices are so well trimmed on all gold and diamond jewelry. Alternatively, we could remake your old jewelry into a brilliant new design. Visit Rendry Jewelers at 151 Stevens Lamini Road, Musgrave, Durban. Rendry Jewelers, the family name you can trust.
Penny Appeal's Education First campaign helps children to get access to quality education.
I'm 14 years old. When I grow up, I'd like to be a scientist.
We believe every child belongs at school,
And we want education, a better education.
learning and dreaming their way to a better future. With your help, we can provide classrooms, desks, stationery packs, and school shoes. Help make these dreams a reality. Visit www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573. Penny Appeal. Small change, big difference. Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Welcome back. The time is 20 minutes past 9, and you're still tuned in to Salam Media with myself, Salailo Makwidir, and we're still having a conversation, a very, very important conversation with the executive director of the Syrian Network for Human Rights, Fadel Abdul Ghany, and we're talking about Bashar al-Assad, and the need for him to face consequences for crimes against humanity that have been put against him. This is during his reign in Syria, and now you have Russia in the mix, who have given him asylum, and they're saying this is they're giving asylum based on a humanitarian need. And we're still speaking to Fadel about this, and the organization itself, the Syrian Network for Human Rights, and what they are calling for. Fadel, thank you so much for staying with us. Before I went on that short break, I wanted to chat a bit about, the extradition to Syria. Your organization has called on Russia to extradite Assad for trial in Syria. What measures must be in place to ensure that happens, and also that there's a fair trial, and Bashar ultimately stands in front of a judge? And does Syria have the relevant resources to make sure that happens?
Actually, we are seeking here the support from the United Nations and the international community to pressure Russia to fulfill its legal obligations to prevent the misuse of humanitarian asylum, because this is, as we discussed before, this is not a humanitarian asylum. This is a protection of a criminal who committed heinous crimes against humanity and war crimes. So that actually demolished and affected the international law. And actually, we call Russia to build a new relation with the Syrian people by extradite Bashar al-Assad, opening a new page and connect and build a relation with the Syrian people, with Syria, not with the person who's brutal and criminal and dictator. This is a new page. If Russia want to build a new relation with the Syrian people after they committed also a heinous and tremendous amount of crimes against humanity and war crimes, they should actually extradite Bashar al-Assad for a fair trial. And we called here for the future Syrian government to actually to pressure Russia as well, and to issue a call as well to request that Russia extradite Bashar al-Assad to them, and to assure that he will not be subjected to any types of torture. Assad regime also, we have, let me also here little bit elaborate that Assad not only one person, is a regime consistent of thousands of officers. We have a data for about 6,000 officers who's help and support Bashar al-Assad in his regime, especially the first and the second rank in the security forces and also in Assad army. All of those should be held accountable. Some of those fled out of Syria. The vast majorities of those are still inside Syria. The future government, the next government, their priority should be follow and find where is those hiding, what is the name of those, what is the details, and try as best as they can and as soon as they can to arrest them and to start a fair trial against them.
Mm, mm, mm. I want to come back to just a personal reaction. You recently made what I thought was a really heartbreaking announcement that most of the missing people detained under Bashar al-Assad's regime are most likely dead. Can you share what it felt like for you to deliver such devastating news to families who are still holding on to some kind of hope that their loved ones are still out there, and probably after the events of the last few weeks, they probably might see them again?
Actually, we don't use to announce or to speak without solid evidence and information, and we have actually. So our methodology is strict, and we have a huge evidence supporting our claim and supporting our announcement. That those evidence started from 2011 when we collected actually thousands of this certificate from civil registry. Those proof that Bashar al-Assad killed hundreds of the enforced disappearance. This enhanced again on 2022 when we also get a huge amount of the also this certificate. Now, in addition to what we have from this certificate, all of the center detentions been opened, and those who's been released about 31,000 only, the remaining about 105,000. So that actually assure to us where is those that didn't found. So that assure to us that those actually might be killed, and confirm our allegation. And based on that, we decided that we need to announce that via statement, and it was one of the most difficult moment in my life, a heavy burden to announce that. It's not easy to inform thousands of families that this is what we reach, this is the conclusion, but I don't have other option and no one else able to announce that, because we are the only one who has the enforced disappearance data, and we have evidence, and we monitor those who's released from Assad prison. So based on all of that, I stepped in, and I present this announcement, and I need the family suffering to end it, and to acknowledge that what's happened. Of course, that doesn't prevent anyone to keep searching, keep digging for their loved one, and I don't force anyone to believe what I said. That's what we reach to. This is our methodology and our conclusion, and we have a solid information and background based on prolonged experience enabled us to do that. But that, of course, doesn't mean that everyone individually from the family need to believe in what we announce. But it was a moving moment, and I fall apart actually. I don't know what's happened to me. I used to be, I don't used to be like this, but at this moment, I didn't hold myself. I'm sorry for that.
No, I think it's the human side. It's the human side of it. I think we can quote numbers and have these high cerebral conversations about the politics and the current affairs of it, but at the end of the day, they are people. We are quoting human beings when we quote the numbers of those that have disappeared and those that have died. And these technical terms sometimes take away from that fact that these are human beings, these are people's children, these are people's wives and husbands, and that needs to be taken into consideration. So no need to apologize on that front. And just in closing, as a Syrian, seeing the events of the last couple of days, what would you say is your hope and dreams now for Syria as it opens a new chapter in its history, and tries to find itself and regain its feet after almost 50 years of the Bashar family reign on Syria?
The big obstacles been removed. This brutal and dictatorship in front of any future step to Syria. It's been removed. Now, for sure, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of challenges. We are aware about it. We need the help from all of our friends, states, international community to support us to humanitarian level to rebuild Syria. My hope is to see Syria as a democratic state, respect human rights, so that every Syrian can be proud of this state, and this state can be engaged in more in enhancing the international law and supporting the humanity and also helping other state who's based on our experience in this devastating conflict, supporting other state actually. So that's what is my hope, and I hope that this will achieve.
No, definitely. I think we're going to leave on that note, Fadel. Thank you so much for giving us your
Thank
time.
you.
Really, really appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll be catching up as more and more unfolds out of Syria after this very, very devastating time. Wish you all the best.
All the best. Thank you, sir.
There you go. Fadel Abdul Ghany, Executive Director of the Syrian Network for Human Rights, and painting quite a grim picture of what has been happening, during Bashar al-Assad's rule and the Assad family's almost 50-year regime. And it's going to be really interesting if Russia, will succumb to the pressure, and to make sure that Bashar al-Assad is ultimately, may put in front of a court, essentially, for the crimes that he committed, against the people of Syria, which I think the devastation and just the scale of it is now coming out in ways that, we haven't imagined. The mass graves, the dungeons and the prisons, it's all coming out, and it paints a bleak and grim picture of what Syria was under Bashar al-Assad, and we hope Syria finds itself and becomes a democracy, as Fadel Abdul Ghany mentioned there. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, News and Views continues after this.